Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday to you. We are back for another episode of Coffee with Rhonda. And in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about self awareness. And as a leader, do you know who you are and how you show up? So, we want to welcome you to another episode of the Coffee with Rhonda show where we are coaches, thought leaders, friends. We like to sit around and just really talk about the successes and challenges that we have every day in just being a woman in today's world. Before we go into the rest of our process, and we're going to introduce ourselves, obviously, to you because some of you might be first time listeners. For those of you that tune in each week, we know this gets a little bit repetitive to you, but just bear with us for anyone new that might be watching this show. So, before we do that and introduce ourselves, a couple of housekeeping things. I want you to be sure that you introduce yourself. Tell us where you're watching from. And don't forget to be sure to tell us what's in your cup because both metaphorically and physically, we want to know what's in your cup, what fills your cup. And so we want you to like and share the video, comment on anything that resonates with you. You can tag friends, just get social with us. And as we do that, if there is, now I'm going to throw a little bit of a challenge out there. And obviously, this is only to those that are watching live. If you have a story of self-awareness, a powerful story of self-awareness, be sure that you're watching from the Coffee with Rhonda page, the Facebook, www.coffeewithrhonda.com. And if you want to come on camera and share your story quickly, then I will certainly let you do that. So you just need to type it in the comments and say, I want to come on and share my story quickly. And I'll bring you into the show so that you can do that since we've got a slot open. So there's a challenge to you for anybody that's watching. So let's do our introductions now. My name is Rhonda Y. Williams. I am the host for the show. I'm an emotional intelligence strategist and coach, helping leaders shift from overwhelmed to overjoyed, helping them get from stuck to unstuck so that they can create a life that they love. I also do coaching. In addition to my coaching, I do workshops. So if you need an emotional intelligence workshop, emotional mastery for your group, reach out and let me know. And you can also join my mastermind group by visiting manifestmydreams.com. Okay, so enough about me. Before we go, I want to be able to share sort of what's in my cup. And I've got in my cup, first of all, I'm at my friend's house. Let's see if you all can see it. Phoenix at a friend's house, and I love the Phoenix area. And this cup says, throw kindness around like confetti. Throw kindness around like confetti. So I love this cup, and I always love my time in Phoenix. And so now we're going to go to our co-host and let them introduce themselves. Marae?
Hi, hello, everybody. It's great to have you with us today. My name is Marae Tulekima. I'm the founder of the Marae Tulekima Global Leadership Organization, an organization that actually help, people to become the best that they can be. We provide them with the tool and the processes and the blueprint so that they can take, their destiny in control, their success and destiny in control. I'm also the CEO of MT Energy Resources, which is a consultancy firm in the oil and gas and energy sector. And I love being on this virtual table. So welcome.
Awesome. What I love about this group is, you sort of look at all of us and we bring something different to the table, which is, I think, what makes us an amazing team. But listen, I just got to say, ladies, we are a group of powerhouse women, okay? You just never know. Look, for you to be sort of a leader in that energy sector and for you to promote and advance the cause of women internationally and globally the way that you do, I think it's really amazing. And then we have our other amazing co-host, Ms. Roz, out here, who is, she doesn't know that I call her this, but I'm going to call her the Quiet Storm. So Ms. Roz, introduce yourself. Uh-oh, she might be frozen.
Yeah, we lost her.
Okay, hold on. Let me remove her.
So I'm going to talk about what I have in my cup. I have water with lemon today. So it's really good. It's good for my throat. So it's give us the opportunity to have Rose back as well.
Yes, water with lemon. It looks like she's having some video problems and she's freezing a little bit. So as soon as she's ready, we'll bring her back in, Marae. But today's topic, I was at a conference yesterday, and at the conference, this is such a powerful conference because it's not your typical leadership conference where you move from room to room and you've got all of these sessions. This conference is really about leaders refilling their own buckets. It's about leaders taking the time to invest in themselves. And every single time I walk away feeling a little bit more introspective, I feel like it's a great way for me to rejuvenate and for me to just think about who I am as a leader. And so that sort of contributed to the topic today in terms of self-awareness and who we are and how we show up. Mariska is out there and she says, hello, ladies. Hello. Thanks for joining. Be sure to share the video, comment, and Mariska, what you have in your cup? Don't forget to tell us what you got in your cup out there. And then Roz will be back with us in just a minute. So while we're waiting on Roz, I'm going to go ahead and share a story. And as you are out there watching, I want you to think about this as well. What opportunities have presented themselves in your life for you to be reflective, for you to really think about yourself and really reconnect to your own level of self-awareness so that you are knowing consistently who you are and how you're showing up in the world. So for me, I posted a video a few days ago that I had received some information about potentially going overseas, and it was a little bit not destabilizing isn't the right word, but it was just, I think, triggering of a lot of thoughts for me. And so this was a very clear opportunity that I had to sort of show, to really think about myself. So you get this opportunity. One would think that you would be like, oh yeah, yes, you're gonna, go overseas, and it's, but all of these other thoughts started going through my mind. So, well, first of all, where am I going? Is it safe? How long will I be there? How am I going to stream Coffee with Rhonda? How am I going to do my coaching? I have mastermind groups that I run. I had a speaking engagement plan that was during.
This goes on and on.
And so instead of immediately going to, oh, yay, this is awesome, this is great, I ended up having to really step back. And then I had to say, okay, Rhonda, press the pause button. What is it you're really thinking and feeling? Right. And so I had to take some time to say, is this okay, to talk to my family, to say I'd be gone for a couple of weeks and, probably close to 3 weeks altogether. I'd be gone. And so it was this moment for me. So it was a true real life opportunity. Marae, it was so interesting because I coach emotional mastery and emotional intelligence. And it was just a real opportunity for me to get in touch with myself. And I had to use all of my own skills that I teach everyone and I talk about all the time. I had to dip into that tool bag and use it for myself to really understand what I was thinking and feeling at that moment. And to be quite honest with you, to evaluate if my thoughts and my feelings were accurate, right? Because we know that they're not always accurate when you have this kind of emotion. So that's my story of self-awareness. I'll come back to it a little bit later as we go into our next couple of segments in terms of why it matters and how to become more self-aware. But what about for you? Oh, let's see if Roz is back first. Hey, Roz.
Hello. I mean, for me, it's I've been traveling quite a lot, and it always, at the end of an assignment, you have to know your next step, and it always been a good period for me to really reflect on what I was going to leave behind and where I'm going to go, and starting to ask myself all those questions. It was often, changing countries, changing culture. So you start to really wonder, are you really ready to make this move? You start to go and find information about, how people live there and how you may actually respond to whatever's going to happen. So all those questions are starting to come, and it's a good time. It's always been a good time for me to reflect on myself, how I come across, how I communicate, and how I would actually fit in this new environment based on the data that I have. And it's always been a very challenging time, but very useful as well, to actually get back to know myself and to know what I'm capable of, to know my limits, to know my fear, and to know how I would react in a different environment. And it can be scary, actually. It can be very scary. It can actually block you. But, I always manage to go to the next step and tell myself, yes, I have this fear. And like the book is saying, feel the fear, but do it anyway. So I would just go and do it and then just experience whatever I have to experience and adjust with the situation, adjust with, my communication when I'm in the country, when I start working in this new environment, when I start interacting with those new people. And have this constant self-awareness of how I come across and how I can have the right impact that I want to have, interacting with people, either in my professional environment in that country or in the, in the social setting, to be able to have some rapport, connect, and, create a relationship.
Right. I want to come back to that point in a little bit after we get Roz to introduce herself and share her story of self-awareness. Because, I think we have to really understand, how am I coming across? How do I show up? I know what I think in my own head and what my intention is, but what if that's not actually what's showing up? So, hey, Roz, introduce yourself and share your story. I hope you're not frozen again. You might be.
She might be.
I know. Yeah. I think it's raining, and you guys, we're having some challenges with video probably because of weather. Roz, you there?
Yes, I'm Roz Jones, the CEO and owner of Jacksonville's Best Caregivers, where we provide 4 levels of care to your loved one: CNA, home health aide, certified nurse assistant, homemaker, companion. When you can't do it all, give us a call. We're going to talk about self-awareness. And in my cup, I have my green tea, honey, and lemon. So I just wanted to say what's in my cup.
Yay.
As we talk about self-awareness, I was listening to you guys. And for me, self-awareness is all I have a problem with looking at my mistakes, and my fears sometimes hold me back. And I have.
Uh-oh. Oh man, I think we're just getting to the good part.
Yes, just when it's getting very, very exciting, the story part.
It's really choppy. So Roz, you've frozen on us. Okay, let me just take her off for a second, bring her back when I see her start moving again. Stephanie's out there. Hey, Stephanie, good morning to you. So we are talking about self-awareness. And if anybody out there, let me just put a reminder, if anybody out there is so bold and wants to share their story of self-awareness, then you can let us know. And I will send you a link to join the show. And you can pop in and talk about your own personal story of self-awareness. I think it would be really powerful to hear others share a little bit of their story. So in the meantime, we're gonna sort of keep moving. I know Roz is going. All right, let me send her a little message there. So as we talk about self-awareness, and we'll come back and let Roz share her story when she's able to get in. But one of the things that I think is important is that we evaluate why it even matters, right? Why does it even matter? Because we just do what we do. We get in our habits, we get in our routines, and we sort of are flowing through the day. We're on autopilot. Why does self-awareness even matter for us? And for me, I have dealt with my share of unaware leaders, as I'm sure, Marie, you have as well.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And the impact that unaware leaders have on others can be pretty substantial. Right, the impact is substantial. How unaware leaders impact others, and I think for the most time they are not intentionally negatively impacting the team. They just lack awareness at how they're
Mhm.
coming across. And so, for me, if you are to be an effective leader, if you are going to be a consistent leader, if you're going to show up as your best self, able to lead a team to where you need them to be, self-awareness is key, right? Without
Mhm.
that self-awareness, then your ability to do those things, I think, is severely limited. And for everyone out there that doesn't have the formal title of leadership, I want to just sort of put in perspective, you are absolutely the leader of yourself. So you are always a leader. It doesn't matter if you have a formal title or not, you are always a leader. And so you want to be able to show up as your best self, whether you have that formal title or not, because as we all know, informal leaders are very, very powerful in the workplace and the workforce as well.
Mhm.
So it matters how you show up. So Murray, what are some of your thoughts on why does it matter for leaders to pay attention to their own self-awareness?
It's very important because it's one of the mechanisms that actually you use for self-control. Because if you know aware of how you come across and how you communicate and the impact that your words or communication or your behavior have on people, you might actually lose control on your team if it's in a professional environment, or if it's in your life, control of your life. So you need to know exactly, who you are. It's part of knowing who you are, how you react, the attitude that you're going to have in a certain environment, and it helps you to plan as well as a leader to guide.
Hmm.
Because if you're not aware of how you come across and how you do things randomly, basically. And it becomes very difficult to give direction to people that you want to lead. Because then, there are people that are actually not going to respond the way that you want. Are you going to leave them behind? Or are you going to adjust, knowing exactly that whatever, how you come across is not helping them to connect with you, or it's not helping them to do anything positive in the team. So you need to have this feedback to be able to be an effective leader, like you just mentioned. This feedback is essential for you to be able to be an effective leader, to lead yourself and to lead your team, because at the end of the day, it's about leading yourself. And then if you can lead yourself, then you'll be able to lead others.
Absolutely. We have, I had one leader that simply wasn't aware that the way they were communicating was a way that the team could not really receive. Right.
Mhm.
So as a result, they lost credibility. They lost the respect of the team. Productivity suffered, all because this person wasn't really tuned in to the fact that people are not responding to you in the way
Mhm.
that you need them to in order to be effective. Not in the way necessarily that you want them to, right? You need them to respond
Mhm.
in a certain way if you're going to be an effective leader. And Roz says, self-awareness is important because when we have a better understanding of ourselves, we are able to experience ourselves as unique and separate individuals. I want to talk just for a moment about what self-awareness is, even. Right? So what is self-awareness to begin with? Self-awareness is the ability to sort of step back and look at your third person. Right? It's your ability to observe yourself, your thinking, your behavior, your beliefs. I talk about this often. We don't often think about our beliefs as actual beliefs. We just think we're thinking what we're thinking, and this is just, but if you're in a city and you hate the city because you think it's terrible and traffic is horrible, that's a belief, right?
Mhm.
You have internalized this to believe that this is a terrible place, and that the belief and that belief then tends to perpetuate itself and then it shows up in your behavior. So, sort of, Marae, let's connect the threads for folks there. If you have these thoughts and you think them consistently, and then they turn into a belief, and now this belief is just a core inherent part of who you are and how you think about certain things, and then it shows up in your actions and behaviors. Now all of a sudden you're unhappy with where you live, you're frustrated, you can't wait to get out of here because you have a belief that this place is horrible and terrible, and
exactly.
that's born from your thoughts.
I mean, I had an interesting experience, when I was taking my assignment to South Africa. I mean, I heard so many things, and it was in Johannesburg, supposedly a very dangerous city. So I had people telling me, yeah, you are in a safe city here in Perth. Why do you want to take a job in Johannesburg? There are murders there. There are this and this. So when I first went, because they asked you to do a visit. So I first went for the first visit, and I had all those negative thoughts in my head. So we were staying at the hotel. I brought my girls, and I at some point had to go to the interview and then leave them with somebody. I was so scared to leave them. I actually asked somebody in the hotel, but I was actually checking every single time that, they were okay. And I was so scared. And then I just realized, at some point, I went out and then went into the city, and I'm like, it's not worse than any city, actually, any busy city. That why do I put myself in such a state? And I was actually behaving like that to a point where even in the interview, I was so tense. But luckily, I managed to actually realize that, hello, you're actually doing it to yourself. There's no danger for you here. You're creating the danger in your head. And now it's affecting your body language, it's affecting how you think, it's affecting how you come across as well. And then I've lived there for 4 years, nothing happened to me. So it's just, those beliefs that something you have in your head, and start affecting your thought process, it start affecting your behavior, it start affecting your communication with other people, because then I was so scared at the first time that I wouldn't actually even dare to talk to any stranger in the street, and yet they were not dangerous at all. So it was just in certain area, the area where I was actually safe. Because everybody was saying this city is just so dangerous and this, you start to create, all this scenario around you and live it actually. So it's important, the thought process that you put in it's important to know, how you're going to react in certain situations, and get this self-awareness to have the self-control and the right communication in the right environment.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because when you're doing this, there might be, I hear some feedback. Marae, just double check and be sure that there isn't a Facebook or something open in the background. I'll double check mine too, because
nothing now.
One of the things that I find interesting is this fear of the unknown that you're speaking about is so real. So just yesterday, we're talking about, for me, getting ready to take this trip, this international trip, and I'm working out all the details before I share where I'm actually going, and, sure everything's going to happen, and I'll be sharing that with folks. But what happened last night, I was talking to a group of friends, and we were talking about this trip coming up, and you could hear almost the fear in the room. Be careful, be safe. Which shots do you need? Is the water safe? And some of it was just curiosity, but some of it is fear, because no, right? It's fear of the unknown. I think Roz is trying to join us again. Hey,
Roz! Whoa! Let's.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Roz. So I can just pause for a minute, Roz, and see. It looks like it's still pretty slow, but Are you able to sort of share a little bit? I know we've been doing all the talking. Share some of your thoughts around self-awareness.
I think you're asking me to introduce myself. I can't hear you. Are you asking me to
Oh,
introduce myself?
yeah, yes. Well, you can introduce. Well, I think we heard your introduction the last time, but we've been having this conversation around self-awareness, and you can share some of what your thinking is around
Still
what
having
we've shared so
problems?
far. Oh, you can't hear us for some reason.
Oh, I can hear you now. Okay, I
Oh,
can hear
yeah.
you. I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was saying that feel free to share some of your thoughts around self-awareness and what we've been discussing so far.
Well, some of the stuff I have put some of the things in the chat, but for self-awareness for me, everybody knows me, so I don't need any introductions at this point. Self-awareness for me, we've already been to, I have had to address fears with self-awareness and my mistakes. So self-awareness is a good thing. However,
Mhm.
too, self-awareness, we have to also understand, even though we make mistakes, we learn from the mistakes. And that's been the biggest light bulb for me in self-awareness. It's not to not only look at the bad, look at the possibility with self-awareness, look at the
Mhm.
opportunities with self-awareness. And a lot of times when we reflect and look at self-awareness, we always think it's bad. And it's not. It's for us to make an adjustment and to move on. So
Mhm.
that's for me, that's my story for self-awareness, is that I had to looking at the negative and know that it's a possibility and for lessons learned.
I love that. I love that, Ross, because the purpose of self-awareness. So let's just touch on this for a moment because I think it's a really important point of this discussion. The purpose of self-awareness is not to beat yourself up. That is not the purpose of self-awareness. It is not to feel guilty or to blame yourself or to be super judgmental, which is really hard for us, right? Because we want to judge everything. It's simply if you can just step back and look at it almost as an uninvested observer. You're
Mhm.
just in the room, you're just watching this. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? And you can take that information as if you were saying to someone, hey, follow me around for a day, right? Use a pen and a paper and just jot down what you see. Don't judge it, right? Just jot down.
Mhm.
You didn't say good morning as you walked in the hall. You weren't smiling in that meeting. Um, you didn't really engage with folks. You seemed a little bit disinterested, whatever. Just write it all down and then you can go back and you can decide where your opportunity is after that, right? You can decide where you have the opportunity to say, I want to improve a little bit here, or I want to do something different here.
Mhm.
That's the opportunity that self-awareness gives us, right? It allows us to be able to do those things in a way that then we can be better. Our goal is, even if you get, like, I think one of you ladies said this on the other show, if you get 1% better, right, Roz, I think that it was Roz that said this, if you get 1% better every day, then you're well on your way. And it's not to shoot for perfection because we know that that's not the goal. So here's a question that I have. How do we become more self-aware? So we know we've talked about some of our stories around self-awareness,
Mhm.
why it matters in leadership. If I am a leader who is not very self-aware, how do I become more self-aware? What strategies, what actions can I take to become more self-aware? And I'll throw that out to you guys to see what your thoughts are on how you improve your self-awareness. And Roz, let's start with you and see if you can jump in there. Uh-oh, hold on.
Part part of my part of my plan for making myself more self-aware
is
It keeps muting. Uh-oh.
me,
There we
for
go.
my self-awareness, I have accountability partners. And so, yeah, self-awareness, sometimes you need a third party. You need
Okay.
somebody other than yourself.
Yeah.
You know, to some of the things wrong, some of the things you need to correct. And you have to, every time it's not going to be negative, it's to help you grow. And we
Mhm.
have to be pruned. We have to be clipped. We have to be prepared. And you cannot prepare if you have things that don't need to be with you that you can't. So just like a plant has to be pruned, we have to be pruned.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Mhm.
just through a mentor, a coach, accountability, our business besties, whoever. But that's for self-awareness.
Awesome. I think that's great. And so having a mentor or an accountability partner or a third party that can take and give you some feedback, some caring feedback to say, I was with you in this situation, and here's what I saw. And then for you being able to accept that and take that feedback, I think is really important as well, because people won't want to give you feedback if you want to argue with them about the feedback. Right? If I say, hey, I want you to be my accountability partner and give me some feedback. And then you say, well, you seemed a little disinterested in that meeting, like you weren't connected. Well, I wasn't disinterested. Well, what made you think that? And that's not what happened. And well, if you're going to do that, then no one is going to want to give you feedback. And so that means you have to be open. So great pointers and suggestions, Roz. Murray, what about you? How would you suggest leaders go about improving their self-awareness?
I mean, one point, there's, there are a few points. There's reaching out, which is what we're talking about, getting feedback from different people. It's always good to get feedback from different people instead of having one point, one person or one, way of having the feedback. So having feedback from different person in a different setting so that you can actually gather those information and make something about it. And like Rose was saying, and improve, how you come across, improve how you communicate and grow, So really diversify the feedback point, the external feedback point. The other side is yourself internally. Try to look at certain situation where you felt like you were not, at ease, or where you had a problem. And then look at the situation from outside as if you were not the person involved, and try to come up with the different, point or lesson that you learn about yourself, your character, how you communicate, how you came across, and really, use that as a building block to improve, improve yourself. So, and do it very, very, very frequently. Get the feedback from different people. I don't know the frequency, but with yourself, really do it, frequently, looking at different situations where you had some challenge, and look at how you came across. Detach yourself from the situation, and really, look at your thought process at that time, and how you would have dealt with the situation differently. So it's just to, and one of the key things that I wanted to mention is that with self-awareness, it's important to focus on your thought process, because what you think is what's going to happen.
Right.
So really give a lot, put a lot of focus on your thought process, on your thinking, and how it actually affects the way you react, and your attitude, and how you communicate with people.
So I want to share a story because that was just really powerful as you were just talking about your thought process. What you think is, well, let me just back up a second. Thoughts are energy, right? And they actually do things. We like to think of our thoughts as being these harmless little things that's just in our head. And because they never leave our head, there's no harm done. That's actually proven scientifically to not be true. Thoughts are things. They actually do things. That energy that it creates goes out and it can just do things. Actually, everything that exists in this world started as a thought. Right? And so our thoughts are powerful. So I was at the airport the other day, and I got to my gate. I was tired. I was rushing. I was going from Wisconsin to Phoenix, and I had to change planes in Chicago. And so I get to Chicago, and I've got just a little bit of time. So I grab a bite to eat, and I'm going to take it on the plane, and I go to my gate, and I'm waiting. So now we're supposed to be boarding, and it's 10 minutes past the start of our boarding time. And I'm thinking, why haven't we started boarding yet? And I was getting a little bit frustrated because I did not realize that in the Chicago airport, they divided in half, and there are Coca-Cola products sold on one half of the airport, and Pepsi products sold on the other half. Well, I walked past 2 places to buy a Diet Mountain Dew that I really wanted, and I thought when I get closer to the gate, I'll pick it up. Oh no, my gate was in the half that sold Coca-Cola products. So I couldn't get a Mountain Dew product. So now delayed in boarding. So my thinking, I'm standing there waiting. I'm like, we should have started boarding 10 minutes ago. You guys haven't told us anything. If I would have known this, I would have gone back and got my Diet Mountain Dew. Right? So this is going through my mind the whole time. I'm like, oh. So now I'm thinking, tell us how long it's going to be, so that I know if I have time to run and get my Diet Mountain. So I got all stuck in my head on this Diet Mountain Dew, and the fact that we were running late. So all of a sudden, I'm standing there, and this is going through my mind. The guy gets on the announcement, and he says, this plane has been taken out of service. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I have time to go get my Diet Mountain Dew. So I was thinking, so I ran up and I thought, well, I have no idea how long. He's like, we're gonna have to get you a new plane and we'll let you guys know. And I'm thinking, oh man, we're probably gonna be delayed at least an hour. So I go up to the other end. Now I'm frustrated because the flight is delayed, right? And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I go up, I get my soda, and I get a text going, here's your new gate, and you're going to be boarding in 2 minutes. And so now I'm like, 2 minutes. So now I'm rushing all the way back across the other side of the airport. And I get there and I'm boarding, and I think, oh my gosh, I think I just took the plane out of service with my thoughts about this Mountain Dew. Like, I'm literally thinking that my whole thought process was, I should have had time to get this soda. I should have had, and I thought, girl, you need to be careful what you think.
Exactly. I mean, it's true, because when you start to sit down and think about certain situation, what you were thinking, and you just realize, oh, I've just materialized it.
Yes.
So we have to be careful about this.
We do. And you know what? Sometimes we don't make that connection, right? Everybody probably, even listening to this video, will say, oh, that was just a coincidence. It had nothing to do with you. Really? Are you sure? Because my thoughts were pretty strong. Right? So we have to be cautious. So that was just one thing I wanted to share that really tied in. So before we wrap up, get ready to wrap up, I wanted to go back to the segment that I call Celebrating Us. And each show, I want to do a little bit of celebration of us. Today, we'll do sort of a rapid round. I want you to choose one word to describe yourself in celebration of you and who you are and what you've done. So I'm going to say I am, and I'll start. I might say I am whatever. And then Ray, you're just going to say I am blank. Raj, you're going to say I am blank. We're going to do 3 rounds of that.
Okay.
It's about celebrating us because we have to get used to being comfortable in our own skin and being comfortable being who we are. Okay, you guys ready? Okay. So,
Okay.
Ready.
so I'll start and then we'll just go rapid fire. We'll just keep going around. So I'll say, I am limitless.
I am the most optimistic person.
Rod?
I am a woman with global impact. I am a woman with global impact.
I am flexible.
I am conscious of my power.
Visionary.
Did you say visionary? Yeah, I think there's a delay.
Yeah, I said
Yeah, we didn't hear that at all, Roz.
I am a visionary.
Visionary. Yep, I am a visionary. Okay, and so final round. Well, boy, this is kind of harder than I think, and I came up with it, right? That's what I get for coming up with all this stuff. So, so for this round, for me, I'm gonna say I am loving of my sense of adventure.
I am a magnet of empowerment.
Roz? Uh-oh, we lost her. Oh no!
Just when it becomes really exciting.
I know, we lost her on the last round, but
It's not and that's the problem. It should actually flow. Because we should actually, be really, self-aware and know who we are and celebrate ourselves all the time.
Isn't it something? We're gonna have to do this a few more times when we're all online and we're all stable. And the more we do it, the more I think the easier it becomes. But we're just not used to celebrating ourselves. So if you're out there, whether you're watching now or on the replay, share what are you follow that I am statement, jot that in the comments, let us know who you are. Don't forget to like and share the video. It's been fun having this conversation today about self-awareness. And Marae, any final thoughts from you on self-awareness?
So my final thought is about reflecting on what we do and really thinking about how we want to come across, because that's very, like I just said, your thought process, your mindset is really the main thing that you need to control. And self-awareness will give you this power, will give you the power, the self-control power, and will give you also the blueprint to how you will interact with yourself as you're going to cross as a leader, and how you will lead people, and how you will communicate with people, and how you're going to have an impact in your community or in the world.
Absolutely. And Stephanie's out there. Stephanie said Facebook has been acting up. Yes, it has. It has not been a cooperative partner today. But that's okay, because the show must go on and we just keep it moving, because our goal is to give each of you out there something to think about. And as we wrap up, for me, in terms of your self-awareness, I would say focus on being intentional. Really try to be thoughtful and intentional about paying attention to yourself. Doing some self-reflection after, and I love, Marae, that you said, especially during those times where you feel unease, and there's something that you think didn't go well or what have you, be thoughtful and mindful about that. But remember, the purpose is not to beat yourself up about it. It is what it is. You can't change the past, but you can do some things differently moving forward. And self-awareness allows you to do that. So be intentional, be thoughtful, build a routine of self-awareness, at least once a day, or you might do it several times a week, where you intentionally sit down and just be reflective about, what you understand about yourself. Challenge your thoughts and beliefs, and so that you have a way of really evaluating those, and if they're serving you well, and if your beliefs are not serving you, if they're not helping you build relationships, helping you be a better leader, helping you get to the place that you want to in your career, then it's time to change those thoughts and beliefs. Self-awareness gives you the ability to have that conversation and to make those decisions for yourself. So as always, it's been fun. I'm here in Phoenix with friends, and so I am going to go and spend some time with my Wild Women group that we have here in Phoenix, and I'm headed to the
Wow, woman. Woo. We want to know all
Camelback.
about it at the next coffee.
Yes, I'm headed to Camelback Spa for what they call a bendy massage treatment or whatever. So I don't know.
Ooh.
I just know it's going to be fun and exciting. So for all of you out there, thanks so much for joining us and tuning in. We're so sorry we lost Roz, but sometimes the technical aspect doesn't cooperate with us, but she's here with us in heart and spirit. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week on the next episode of Coffee with Rhonda.
See you next week. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.